We've seen a growth of authoritarianism around the world over the last 20 years. When we thought history was over and open liberal democracy had won history, and that's where everybody was just going to kind of gradually move towards, because this was obviously the best form of government, it hasn't obviously worked out that way. And it's been moving a lot the other way. And the authoritarian regimes often will attack religious people first. Usually, the religious people are the first ones attacked and the last ones left standing.
And I have the great honor now and privilege to introduce our guest. The reason we are assembling here today to discuss this topic, we're very privileged to have Ambassador Sam Brownback among us. He's been the ambassador at large of the United States from 2018 to 2021, and also served as a governor of Kansas. And what is also interesting is that even right now, he is still very involved in the religious freedom sphere, about to bring out a book he will mention later. And he also currently serves as the co-chair of the International Religious Freedom Summit. So we would like to start with just giving him the possibility to share some of the aspects of your former mandate, of your current engagement that you would like to share with us. And we're very privileged. Sam Brownback, please join us here and join me in welcoming Mr. Ambassador Brownback.
I've been working in the religious freedom field now for quite a few years, and that's what I want to center my topics around. I do want to start with just recognizing where we are. We're in the heart of the place that carried Christendom for nearly 1,000 years. This would be the Holy Roman Empire, that was neither holy nor Roman nor an empire, but was here, it was headquartered here, and held together a group of pretty loosely affiliated Christian places, tribes, countries, that fostered Christianity and Christendom for 1,000 years. I'm reading a book now on the Holy Roman Empire. I've been saying, because as an American, we just really don't know our history very much. We're kind of always looking forward, and you never kind of look back to figure out, well, where did we come from? It's just kind of always like, well, let's charge forward is kind of American mentality. But it's helpful to know where the roots are from. And where we are right now, this carried Christianity for 1,000 years and kept it from being an Islam continent, which it would have been. And you did it with this really loose organization that you didn't have an emperor really at the top of it. It was, you were held together by a set of values, and you fought for them, and you carried it, and you expanded it. And then you handed it off to the Brits and the Spaniards and the French, and then to the Americans. We were really kind of in the lead role now on holding together Western civilization. And I don't know, some days we do a good job, some days we don't. You know, I mean, it's just, you taught her about it. But at the root of all of this all along has been this deep faith that Jesus is the Son of God, and the Judeo-Christian ethic that we're built upon is real, and it's worth projecting out and standing for. That was how the things, and out of that came this incredible human dignity that was projected around the world. Because in our eyes, God sees every one of us as a beautiful, living, loving child of the living God, whoever you are. Everybody is. And that brings an incredible dignity then to whoever you are. Because you're a child of the living God. Wow. I mean, the trees bow down. You know, you just kind of look at who this is. And you carried that for 1,000 years. So I want to honor that heritage, and there's movements now to get back to that heritage, because a lot of us in the West kind of say, yeah, that was the past, but that's not our future. It is our future. That's what you're gonna revitalize out of, because if you don't, you cut your roots off, you become cut flowers. You can see what you were, but there's no vitality, there's no life. And you need the life in it. So anyway, I want to honor that, because that's really amazing as I study the history. 1,000 years is a good long run. That's impressive to do that. And I hope you feel the pride of that. of what you've done and see that. Religious freedom, you're going to get, this is me. I don't stand for any government at this point in time. I'm a free agent, so you're hearing Sam Brownback here. This isn't the U.S. government. This isn't Kansas. This is Sam Brownback speaking. I look at religious freedom as this cornerstone human right. And the nations that get it right, they then can build and will sustain other human rights. Many nations now are attacking this fundamental human right, literally attacking it, particularly authoritarians, and we've seen a growth of authoritarianism around the world over the last 20 years. When we thought history was over and open liberal democracy had won history, and that's where everybody was just going to kind of gradually move towards, because this was obviously the best form of government, it hasn't obviously worked out that way. And it's been moving a lot the other way. And the authoritarian regimes often will attack religious people first. Usually, the religious people are the first ones attacked and the last ones left standing in a country. Because they just don't quit, they don't give up. And you can attack one and the other is still in their heart, and they continue to fight and they continue to stand. And so authoritarians hate that. They don't like that. You know, they attack businesses, but businesses aren't going to keep standing. They attack civil society, but there's no core of the soul. And that's why this religious freedom right, which is to me the human right of the soul, is the most fundamental of human rights if you want to stand and defend against authoritarians, if you want to stand and defend the rest of the human rights, you've got to get this one right. You've got to get your cornerstone set right. And that's why it's under attack. You're seeing, for us in the West, I think we see, by and large, the human rights as basic human dignities, and certainly in the United States, we see this as a foundational human right. You can go to the totalitarian states, you can look at the Soviet Union under communism, you can look at China under communism. They see religious freedom as an existential threat. That's the book I'm writing now, is China's War on Faith. And I didn't put it together until I kept interviewing these people of various faiths. I'm interviewing Buddhists and Falun Gong and Muslims and Christians, and all of them have a very similar experience to varying degrees. Falun Gong get attacked the worst of anybody. They get hammered and killed and organ harvesting. And I've interviewed a guy that was organ harvested. They only took part of his liver the first time, and they were coming back for the rest, and he got away. But they go at all of them, and they're always, and in the interviews, when I was interviewing this Uyghur woman, she was saying, you know, there is no God. Your God is Xi Jinping. That's what they're drilling into her, as they're beating on her. You know, or they would look at her and they'd challenge her and said, why don't you have your God come down and save you if he's so powerful? Get him out, get you out of jail. Come on. Why didn't your God do that? Xi Jinping could get you out of jail. Your God can't do that. Communist Party can get you out of jail. Your God's not doing that. Where is he? And night after night, they're doing that. And they keep coming at her. And she's raped, and her family and one of her children are killed, and she doesn't give her faith up. Why? It's who she is. It's deep in there. It's the human right of the soul. And so if you're an authoritarian regime, you've got to get this one out of there. And that's why they keep coming at this one. And that's why I think it's so central for Western governments in particular to stand for this foundational right and to see religious people. And we get this problem in the West in particular. Oftentimes we look at religious people are the ones that start wars. You guys are the problem. And I look at it as religious people are the ones that stand for values. Now, they can get abused and misused, and religion can be misused. And in the hand of a decent politician, a religious sentiment can be whipped around pretty good, particularly if you don't know your faith very well. And that's most people really don't know their faith very well. And so you can manipulate that, and I can show you plenty of places in history where that's happened. But if we really want to stand for human rights and grow human rights, you've got to get this one right. We've got to stand for it. We need to see in Western societies us standing for this, fighting for it, and seeing great allies against the authoritarian moment that we're in right now in religious people, whatever their faith is. We need to see that. So that's what I'm asking people to look at and to do, and I'm pushing. I'm pushing that we really put this forward as a fundamental human right. I'm pushing, and the Trump administration is very strongly for religious freedom. And they did a lot in the first term. They're going to do more in the second term, is what the vice president's announced. We've done these religious freedom summits. We brought people in from all over the world. We're trying to build a grassroots movement around this fundamental human right. That there'd be people from everywhere, and they would start so that it wouldn't have to come out of government. It would come up from the religious organizations and from the people saying, I've got a right to peacefully practice my faith. I have that right. It's in the UN Charter of Human Rights. It's in most constitutions, whether they're totalitarian or otherwise, this right's there. People need to stand up and say, I've got this right to be able to peacefully practice my faith. Now, if you go to blow up a building and you're saying, God told you to do it, I'm sorry, we're going to have a problem here. And I, as governor, locked people up like that. I locked Christians up that went out to kill Jews. And I said, we will not tolerate anything like this. And we don't, and we will not. But we've got to stand up for this right. And what I'm asking you really is to grow a part of this movement. Host religious freedom summits wherever you're from. Bring it up in your religious organizations. Fight for groups that are around the world being persecuted, wherever they might be, whoever they are. Build into the networks that are now being built, the Article 18 Coalition, the Religious Freedom of Belief Alliance. It's got 42 countries. Work with that group to raise these topics up. These are key caucuses, and the tools are there now for people to be a part of these things. I just came back from Kurdistan about a month ago, and they did a religious freedom summit and a prayer breakfast there in a far and away majority Muslim country. And it was a part of them saying, we're going to stand for religious freedom, and they protect Christians and Yazidis and Muslims of all stripes there too. And you're going, great, God bless you, man, good, we're going to get behind you. We want to get behind groups like that. And find places that you can do that. And get people involved with it and connect into these networks that are now available. Because that's the way this thing will grow. And I'm going to end on this note, to do that from the center of where the Holy Roman Empire stood and protected these very basic rights, this human dignity right. Remember, freedom of the soul comes from God first. He gave us this freedom. And he gave it to us even knowing we would mess it up. So big that he'd have to send his son to clean it up, and he still did it. So there must be something extraordinarily powerful about this right of freedom of the soul, to be able to choose whether I follow God or not. I get to fully choose on this, whether I'm going to do this or not. And God gave that to me freely, knowing he'd have to pay the price that I would do in messing it up. How valuable must this thing be? So I look at I think of it in those sorts of terms, that we are really, and we're the edge of defending this. We're the people that defend this. There's other places around the world, other civilizations built on other religious beliefs don't do this. It does it in the core part. But within the Judeo-Christian ethic, this is a core conviction. You have the right to do with your own soul what you choose, and no government or mob has a right to tell you otherwise. Period. That's it. There's not another that I know of tradition. I mean, there are others that view that, but this is one where this is a core concept. You have the freedom to choose. It's precious.